Welcome back, everyone, to Huddle Up here on the Missouri Sports Network. I'm still with my fellas here. The big fella who doesn't like his nickname, Big Fella, but I'm sorry, Big Fella. It is what it is. Guy Newcomb over there and Coach DA. I'm Johnny Mack. I'll call myself Big Fella too. If that make you feel better, guy. Hey, right now it's our third and final segment. We're going to talk a little bit about our favorite Chiefs fan, but maybe there's nothing to talk about. Guy, any new news on Chiefaholic?
No, I still no idea where he is. A lot
Really?
of folks thought he might show up at the draft. I can't imagine he'd be that stupid. I mean, for him to elude the authorities as long as he has at this point, he is not an idiot. So we have no idea where he is.
Well, like I said, I thought I saw him at National and Kearney a couple weeks ago, but maybe I was wrong. But hey, who know? I thought I saw him at the Walgreens right there at National and Kearney. But hey, like I said, maybe it was just an imposter. Hey, we'll move on from that. I know there's a couple local teams here, baseball wise, that were doing pretty well, and a district pairing, some district teams that could be Final Four teams, but just won't happen because of the way the districts are set up. Da, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think in Class 5 here in Southwest Missouri, you have Glendale, Camdenton, and Willard, who are all 1, 2, 3, respectively, and they're all in the same district. So something's got to give, and I would love to be a fly on the wall in that district seed meeting.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of finagling um, going on to try to make sure matchups and uh, you know uh, looking forward to pitching. How are you going to do your rotation and things like that? Because somebody's going to eat up a good pitcher in a semifinal.
Yeah.
Um, that's going to eat up a lot of innings and eat up a very good starter before you even get to the championship game. So um, interesting time ahead. Fort Zumwalt, their school district has 4 schools. 3 of those 4 schools are state ranked in baseball in Class 5 and 6. So it's getting ready to gear up for state play, and that's always a fun time of year. And same way with girls soccer. Throughout the state, a lot of good soccer teams, especially in the Kansas City, St. Louis area, and um, it's a fun time of year.
Fun times, big fella over there. What are your thoughts on the local scene, guys? A couple teams you want to acknowledge here?
Well, first off, Ash Grove is still undefeated. They're the only undefeated team in the state of Missouri at the baseball level, and they've recently just jumped into the number one ranking in the state of Missouri. They're 16-0 on the season. Got a big win over a very good Clever team last week that was 21-1 and ranked in the state in Class 3, and Ash Grove kind of went and handled them a little bit, 8-2. Ash Grove, you can put 3 guys out there at a Class 2 school, put 3 guys out there that are at mid to upper 80s, and throw strikes. You're in good shape. And like what Da was talking about with that Glendale, Camdenton, Willard, that district's all going to be about who gets that 1 seed. I mean, right now Glendale's number 1 ranked team in the state, but they lost to Camdenton. So does Camdenton get the 1 seed? Whoever gets that 1 seed is going to save a pitcher. That 2-3 matchup is going to be crucial. And, you've got to throw your number 1 in that 2-3 matchup because it doesn't matter if you can't get to the championship game. It doesn't matter who you have, saved. That Ash Grove district, they're in a district with Morrisville or Marion C. Early, as people around the state know them. But Morrisville's also state ranked, and they're in that same district. And Ash Grove over the last 3 years hasn't been able to get by Morrisville. And then in the next round, Morrisville hasn't been able to get by Marionville. Marionville's not a player probably anymore. In Southwest Missouri, it's probably Purdy and Ash Grove and maybe a Gainesville, which is the way it was last year where Gainesville went to the Final Four. So it's, and on the soccer side of it, you got a Glendale team that's, state ranked. And, they're number 1.
Yeah.
And, in their classification, you've got Lakeway, who's, that's up the highway a bit. That's, towards St. Louis, but they have been a perennial Final Four team at the smaller levels. And then Springfield Catholic, who you've kind of overlooked maybe in the last 4 or 5 years, but there was a time there where they went to 5 or 6 consecutive Final Four. So, and you got spring softball, which is kind of a newer thing in the state of Missouri. You got a Mount Vernon team who's sitting at 30-1 right now. You got a Diamond team who won the state championship a year ago. in spring softball, and Mount Vernon just went down and beat them, I think 9-2 there. So a lot of great things going on. You've got the track and field is getting ready to go into their district as well. So it's May is by far my favorite month. It always has been as a kid because I knew we were getting out of school. Baseball was starting up. My birthday's in May. It's just a lot of fun.
I hear you, big fella. Well, thanks for the roundup there. That's a lot of information. That's what we do here on the Missouri Sports Network. We cover it all, and we want to make sure some of those local teams were acknowledged. Guy, tell me a little bit about the leadoff club, how it went last week. I know the last one's coming up with some of the awards, and give us an update on Art Haynes and how's he doing.
First off, on Art, got to visit with him late last week. He's in really good spirits for what he's been through. I mean, you're talking about a guy who hasn't been able to move for 6 or 7 months. The situation he's in would have killed me to not be able to move my arms, my legs, not be able to feed myself. He's kind of coming around. He's getting use of his hands. His son, Chris, has showed him how to use Siri to text so he can do the talks to text. So Coach Rowe at every club meeting the last probably 3 or 4 weeks has encouraged us, hey, send a text message to Art. He's starving for information. So I reached out to him last week. He responded. We got to visit a little bit. Hopefully by the end of this month or maybe middle of next month, he gets to come back down to Springfield to continue his rehabilitation. Unfortunately, he still has the trachea, and that's just, a month ago he went through double pneumonia, and they can't keep him free of that pneumonia long enough to be able to remove that trach from his throat. And a lot of that's because he's not able to move, and he's on his back, and that fluid settles in his lungs. He is able to stand up, with obviously a lot of help. But just continue to pray for him. Keep your thoughts and prayers, and we updated every week at the leadoff club. This past week was great. We had all 4 college coaches that were there, and I tell you what, Coach Gutton is well worth the price of admission. Coach Gutton is absolutely hysterical, and Coach Nasby at Drury, same thing, same way. But we'll be able to mix, the Springfield City schools along with some of the area schools. So last week we had a Marshfield, we had a Fair Grove, we had Clever. That was all represented, and Republic, who incidentally got a huge win earlier this week as they beat Nixa. So they're going to, right now, they sit atop the COC at 7-1, tied with who else? Willard, who we just talked about being state ranked. But it's this Monday will be the final leadoff club and the final in a series until we get back to the quarterback club starting off, next August. But this will be the awards banquet. We will pass out the awards for Coach of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, Player of the Year, and MVP for the city schools and the area schools. So there'll be 8 awards given out this Monday, and looking forward to that. And you can join us. Get there at 11 o'clock. I get there about 10, kind of set up the room a little bit and sit there. And 11 o'clock, the food's out, and you can eat and shoot your. Typically, we're out of there by 12:30 or 12:45. A little bit longer this week with the awards being given out, but I invite everybody to come out and join us at Pizza Ranch at the mall.
Thank you for that update, Guy. DA, anything you got to say as we end this segment here?
Hey, go Cards.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that. Hey, big fella, for everyone here at Missouri Sports Network, it's been good listening to you, but I do got one thing I need to say. Hey, don't follow a grown man into the restroom and give him an old school story. Let him be. All right, let him be. Hey, you've been listening to Huddle Up here on Missouri Sports Network. We appreciate you all for being here. We'll catch you again next week, next Wednesday. Tune in, and we'll have all the latest updates for the sports here across the state of Missouri. Everyone, take care. Good night.
At the belt. Checks. Brummer's stealing home. He is safe, and the Cardinals win. Brummer stole home. The dugout comes out, and they congratulate him. You wouldn't.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you for